Calvin Castine at Chazy Central Rural School. It's the 29th day of January 2010. Murphy Farrell, Elizabeth Hamden, Melanie Pearson, Carly Reynolds, and Allison Pine. John Reynolds is the coach. Sinead Cooper, Olivia Seymour, Megan Reynolds, Hannah Latour, and Devin Latrimore. This is the Indian Lake, Long Lake, Orange, and the Chazy Central Rural School Eagles. Right here, right now on Hometown Cable. Referees tonight, a couple of good fellows from the area, from Westport, former Northeastern Clinton Central School Athletic Director Rick Frisbee, and from Altona, a new assistant principal at Plattsburgh High School, Jamie Labarge. The next voice you hear will be that of the late Joey Trombley.
Well, welcome North Country basketball, folks. As I was coming here, Calvin told me he was saying the late Joey Trombley is here, but I'm not, I guess late, but I'm not the late Joey Trombley. I'm alive and well, and it's the 29th of January 2010, and it's a game between Chazy and the Indian Long Lake Orange. And Indian Lake Long Lake, okay. Two lakes, Indian Lake, Long Lake, against Chazy here on the Friday night. A bitter cold day in the North Country. It's about 50 degrees cooler than it was just 5 days ago on Monday. Actually 80 degrees cooler if you count the wind chill factors. And good defense by the Eagles, and they would hold Indian Lake, Long Lake from getting a shot off, so defensively it worked out well.
You can say Orange.
Can I say Orange? It's probably a lot better, huh? Saying Indian Lake, Long Lake. So Calvin, it was a cold day today.
It was a cold night last night and again tonight.
For sure, but it's warm here in Chazy for this basketball game. And a couple of the players for the Eagles are at Harvard Model UN. One would be Emily Keeble, and the other one would be Sagan Trombley. And so they brought up a couple players from the JVs. They're on the bench right now. But right now it is Olivia Seymour with the ball into Megan Reynolds. She's fighting for the rebound. And Indian Long Lake returns the favor and keeps Chazy from getting a shot off.
I think this is the longest I've ever seen without a shot here.
So it's stellar defense from both teams, from the Orange and the Eagles. And the ball is given up back over to Hamden. Hamden gets it over to number 15, Reynolds. Reynolds with the shot. We finally had a shot. And the rebound goes to Latrimore, but it goes off her hands. And so it'll be Indian Lake, Long Lake. We'll probably keep it short for the Orange. That usually works out pretty well. And nice job.
ILL.
and there's a bucket, and it goes in by number 24, Pine. And what's nice is Coach or Brian Norcross gave us a nice paper here that has the players' names and their numbers in numerical order. We always like that. They have down.
After I wrote everything down.
Yeah, well, but you're a true professional. It's a backup. We had it if we needed it. So, Calvin, people expect that from a professional like yourself, and makes my life easier. Of course, I'm the Ted Baxter of announcing, as that was made famous by Joe Poussant, and of course carried on here by Calvin. And it's Devin Latchmore with the ball, but he also has down the games they played and the scores and what happened. So we have some material to talk about Calvin during the game. You know, it doesn't have to all be play-by-play, as we well know. And it's Latour taking it in strong, misses it, rebound by Seymour, and foul. And will he count the bucket? On the floor. So who are our referees, Calvin?
Well, that's Rick Frisbee from Westport and Jamie Labarge from Altona.
And we'll talk about Rick Frisbee. Back when I was going through school in the 70s, Mr. Rick Frisbee was our athletic director and was our soccer coach back in the 70s. Of course, he lived in Chazy all those years, worked at Northeastern. Now he's been in Westport, I would say, a good 10, 12 years. If not longer, because time does go by fast, so it could be longer than that. And there's a travel on number 24, Pine.
Actually, a year or so after his kids graduated from Chazy here, he moved back to Westport and commuted to Northeastern for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, he did. But he likes it down in Westport, and I'm sure it's always a treat for him to come back here in Chazy to referee against his old hometown. And Rick is looking pretty good here for a guy that's retired. And actually, Rick had a heart attack.
He did. I didn't know that.
It was either a heart attack or he had, I think it was, but he had open heart surgery, or yeah, I think that's what it was. But he had something going on with the ticker.
I'll go speculate.
He had something going on with his ticker, I can say that. And he would verify that, but he's healthy right now, and obviously he's running up and down the court. And we've played 3 minutes and 5 seconds here in the first quarter. It's a very low-scoring game. It is a 2-0 Orange lead with Allison Pine. And when I say Orange, Calvin, I mean I'm a big Syracuse Orange fan. And there's a beautiful shot by Reynolds, Carly Reynolds. So it's a 4-0 lead. But I'm a big Orange fan for Syracuse in college. And when I call Orange, it almost makes me want to root for the Orange out there.
Well, your daughter's not playing, so go ahead.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just, I can't do that, obviously, but I'm rooting for the green and white, obviously, and I know I'm not supposed to be partial, but this is hometown cable, and we're doing it for our girls, so I will be partial. And the rebound is tied up, and Rick Frisbee says jump ball, and it goes, the arrow favors Chazy, so it'll be Sinead Cooper with the ball. And now you did write down who the JVs came up, and the JVs that came up was Katelyn Kozak and Michaelangela Cahoon. I can't read your writing.
Mike Cahoon's daughter, Michaela.
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 It's Michaela.
Yeah.
Michaela Cahoon, okay. So, Calvin, I got to admit, I like the typed version better, but it was a nice effort on your part to write it down.
I was scribbling in a hurry here.
I know, I should have been here doing my job. I know where you're going with it.
As usual, the Chazy book wasn't ready, so I had to. So after I got done writing down the Indian Lake names, Indian Lake Long Lake names, I was going to write down the Chazy names, but they had to grab the book and turn the page over to get, because they hadn't put it in the Chazy book yet. So then I had to scribble down the Chazy names in a hurry.
Well, Megan Reynolds, as we were kibitzing here, makes the 2 free throws, and it's a 4-2 Orange lead. Orange coming down. It gets into the hands of number 4, Hamden. There's a nice long 3-pointer, and Carly Reynolds has a couple of nice shots here for the Orange. Full court pressure coming up. It's Latchmore taking across at midcourt. and the trap works, and they kind of triple team her. Latchmore gets back in there, and she ties up number 12, Pearson, and it's a jump ball, and the arrow would now favor the Orange. We have 3:39 to go here in the first quarter. It's a 7-2 Orange lead over the Eagles of Chazy. And the Orange are from Indian Lake, Long Lake. I'm Joey Trombley calling the action tonight. On camera is the father of Hometown Cable, Calvin Castine. Usually it's Sam Castine here in Chazy on the basketball night. And there's another nice shot by Farrell, and Coach House wants a timeout. It's 9-2. So, Calvin, how do we get blessed with your presence here in Chazy on a Friday night?
This is a week where there's a lot of Regents tests and so on, so there's not much scheduled. So there's nothing going on locally in the CVAC. So I told Sam I'm available, so I'll be here and give him a night off.
Again, another true professional, Calvin Castine, stepping up to the plate. We're at a timeout, and we'll be back in just a moment. We're back from the timeout. The ball comes into Latchmore, into Sinead Cooper. It's a zone full court pressure, and Chazy's got to figure out how to do this. The coach very well on the pressure. It's into Latchmore's hands. Latour tried to get it into the hands of Olivia Seymour, but it was knocked away. And here come the Orange on the run, but it's Megan Reynolds coming through, and that would be a block on number 15, Carly Reynolds. And so the coach has them playing aggressive defense. That's nice to see. They run that zone full court press pretty well.
Well, you got their record there. How are they doing, Indian Lake, Long Lake?
Well, overall they are 9-2. Chazy is 8-4, and it's Megan Olivia Seymour makes the bucket, so it's 9-4. So Indian Long Lake is 9-2 overall. In the league, they are 7-0. Chazy is 4-8 overall. They're 4-4 in the league. So if you look at this statistically speaking, record-wise, the Orange would be favored here tonight in this game. And we have a full timeout right now with 2:43 to go. It's the Orange leading the Eagles 9-4. And we're back from the timeout. The Orange will take the ball out underneath the Chazy basket. It is Reynolds taking the ball in, trying to find something in the paint, but it comes out into the hands of Pearson. Pearson gave it up to Hamden. There's a shot and a three-pointer. And they're going to have to get on that Reynolds lady there. She's Carly Reynolds has the hot hand. She has 8 points here in the first quarter. She's 2 3-pointers and a 2-pointer. So you got to get on that shooter for sure, Calvin.
She's looked good out there so far. Does it say how she's done here stat-wise?
No, it doesn't say stat-wise, but it would make sense as to why they are 7-0. One of it must have been a non-league game against Westport. They lost that one 45-23, and they lost to Tupper Lake 35-28. Those are their only 2 losses at this point. And it's 12-4, and it's Megan Reynolds coming down the floor, gives it up over to Cooper. Cooper gets it into Latour. Latour's into the paint, goes in strong, and she's fouled. And she's fouled by number 24, Allison Pine, who's a junior. And Hannah Latour, the junior, will go to the line for Chazy. And it's a good thing they're hot from the foul line. That's a nice bucket by Hannah Latour. Earlier, Megan Reynolds made her 2. And she makes the second one, so the lead is cut in half. It's 12-6, the Orange leading the Eagles. And it's Hamden coming up the floor for the Orange. She gives it up over the hot Carly Reynolds. Back to Hamden, over to Reynolds. Good job by Megan Reynolds to come and guard her beyond the arc, because she's proven she can knock it down. And there's a nice rebound position off the hands of Chazy. So it's the Orange ball under the Eagle basket with 1:37 to go here in the first. They come to the outside into the hands of Pine. Pine gives it up over to Hamden. Nice ball movement. There's the shot. Hits the rim. Nice rebound. And nice position from Allison Pine to box out. does a nice job with an offensive rebound, and the Orange go up 14-6. Cooper getting it up over to Latour. Pushed it into a nice play by Hannah Latour inside to Olivia Seymour, and Seymour takes it off the glass and in. With 1:09 to go, it's a 14-8 game, and it is ball all the way over to number 3, Farrell, and there's a three-pointer. Shot up, rebound, and there's Pine, big rebound. And Seymour does a nice job coming up with it, gives it up over to Megan Reynolds. We have under a minute to go in the first quarter. Ball into Latour, quickly to Cooper. Cooper squares up off the glass, rebounded by number 5, Hamden. Hamden being challenged, it gets into the hands of number 12, Pearson, back to Hamden. Hamden crosses midcourt, chasing their 2-3 zone, pushes it into the top of the key to Pine. Pine goes baseline. There's a running one-hander by Carly Reynolds, and she's had a big first quarter with 10 points here for the Orange. And with 16-8, it is the Orange. It's all the way across court over to Megan Reynolds. Reynolds goes baseline. She misses it, rebounded by Carly Pine, and she's fouled by Devin Latchimore with 14.3 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Hamden gets it into Reynolds. Reynolds back to Hamden. Over to Reynolds. Reynolds coming down. 8 seconds, plenty of time. Pushes it back over. And it's number 3 into the paint to Pine. Pine takes it in for a layup. And what a nice offensive run by the Orange. And the first quarter will come to an end here in Chazy with the Orange leading the Eagles 18-8. And we're back to start the second quarter. Chazy will take it out at midcourt. It's Sinead Cooper taking the ball in, and it gets it into Reynolds. And Michaela Cahoon is into the game, moved up from the JVs for this game. And it is Seymour getting the shot off, in and out. Seymour fighting for the ball. Rebounded by the Orange, rebounded by number 12, Pearson. And it's tied up. Reynolds and number 4, Hamden, so the arrow would favor the Orange, so Hamden will take it out and get it over to Carly Reynolds. Reynolds had a big first quarter for the Orange, and she'll take the ball up here for the Orange, crosses midcourt, gives up her dribble, trying to find somebody. She finds Hamden. Hamden looking to penetrate, goes over to the left side over to Farrell. Farrell gives it up to Pearson, who comes up from baseline, and ball movement here by the Orange. We have 5 on the shot clock. Shot clock going down, and they lose it. Stolen by Megan Reynolds. Reynolds looking, trying to get the angle on the board here, and she's fouled by Hamden. So nice play by Megan Reynolds. She wanted to get the angle so she could take it off the glass, but she was fouled by Hamden before she could get there. So it'll be Chazy ball underneath the Orange basket. That's Indian Lake, Long Lake Orange. It's Sinead Cooper getting it in over to Olivia Seymour. No, nice play from Megan Reynolds to sneak in and get the easy bucket, and that's, coaches don't like to see that on an inbounds play underneath the basket, and it was worked to perfection by Megan Reynolds. Here comes Reynolds. This is Carly Reynolds. Oh, nice feed into Pine, blocked by Seymour, and knocked away, picked up by Reynolds. Reynolds will now take it up for Chazy. It's 18-10. She's got Latchimore to her left, or to the right. To the left is Cooper. Cooper gives up her dribble, gives it up over to Cahoon. Cahoon back over to Cooper, all the way over to Reynolds. Reynolds being guarded by number 3, Farrell. Gives it up to Seymour. Seymour baseline. She's short, and it's rebounded by number 24, Pine. Pine gives it up over to Hamden. Hamden being guarded by Cooper. Crosses midcourt. At front of it, she has Pine at the in the paint. Comes back over to Hamden. Left side over to Farrell. Back over to Hamden. Hamden at three-point line. Gives it up to Pine at the post. Knocked away. Recovered by Farrell. Gives it up over to number 4, Hamden. 6 on the shot clock. Shot partially blocked, and here's Chazy running the floor. It's Cooper taking it up, misses it, rebound by Reynolds, and Chazy had an opportunity to score 2. They still do. Nice hustle by the Eagles inside to Seymour. Seymour working her way into the paint, going up strong, misses the shot, and Olivia Seymour frustrated not being able to get that ball to drop. Fouls in the backcourt. And that was more of a frustration foul on Olivia Seymour. And you see that happen a lot, Calvin. It doesn't go a player's way, and they get frustrated, and they just pick up a silly foul.
That's a far too common occurrence.
And there we go again. 2-pointer from Carly Reynolds. I don't know, Calvin. I think I'd have somebody doing a boxing one on this Carly Reynolds, and she'd become my best friend if I was guarding her, because this girl is just on fire tonight here for the Orange. And Devin Latchmore answers the call with a nice jump shot, and it's now 20-12, an 8-point Orange lead. The ball's into Hamden's hands. Good defense pressure by the Eagles. Back into the Pine. Pine gets the shot off. She misses it. Rebounded by Latchmore. Latchmore with the ball will slow things up, taking it up for the Eagles. She has Cooper to her left. She has Reynolds to her right. Gives it up over to Sinead Cooper. Man-to-man defense by the Orange. And it goes off of the foot of the Orange, so the ball goes back to Chazy. And we have a couple players coming in for the Orange. We have number 30 and number 10. It would be Douglas, Kayla Douglas. And number 10 would be Jessica Bain. Cooper gets it into Reynolds. Reynolds trying to get by the speed of Farrell. It's Cooper being guarded by Reynolds. Into Cahoon. Cahoon cannot hang on to it, and it's picked up by Hinckley. And here come the Orange. Nice speed. It was a nice shot by Hamden, and she didn't finish. But she ends up with the ball, gets it back over to Reynolds. Reynolds will square up again, and nothing but net. And Carly Reynolds is having a first half to remember for the Indian Long Lake. And I'm trying to see if I can see some stats here. Don't have any.
She missed one though earlier, Joey.
I know. I'm surprised Coach didn't sit her down and talk to her about that. You know, shooting 90% is not unacceptable. Unacceptable. And Latchmore takes it in and hits the bucket. So Chazy's doing well, only down by 8 against a team that's undefeated.
Especially, you know, because the Orange are shooting well, and Chazy, I think, is very lucky to be within 8 right now.
Yeah, they're playing good defense. I mean, you can't take away the shots that Reynolds has made. They're just beautiful shots. So now she's like 80% now, Calvin. And on the line, so it will go to Chazy. So Coach House has to be happy with what she's seeing tonight. Brought in some nice minutes by Michaela Cahoon. Hannah Latour's back in the game, and there is a timeout right now by the Orange with 3:42 to go in the second quarter. It's the Orange 22, the Green of Chazy 14. We're back from the timeout. It's Latchmore with the ball for Chazy. She goes left side over to Cooper. Cooper inside to Latour. Latour's got position. Nice play by Hannah Latour. Nice pass by Cooper. Chazy within 6, 22-16. And the ball goes into Pine's hand. Pine will give it back over to Hamden. Hamden slows it up, goes back into Carly Reynolds' hands. Reynolds back to Hamden, all the way over to Farrell. There's a shot by number 15 Reynolds, picked up by Cooper. Cooper looking to run the floor. She's got speed. Cooper runs and guns, rebounded by Reynolds, and it's now 22-18. Chazy within 4. And the ball goes into Pine's hands. Pine gives it back up over to Hamden. Chazy goes back into the 2-3 zone. Hamden goes right side over to 15 Reynolds. Shot short, so Reynolds has missed the last 3 shots. And it comes back over to Hamden. Hamden has it knocked away. Reynolds chasing, trying to save it. And she turns it over. She lost her balance. Coach wanted a foul. No foul called with 2:37 to go. Chazy only trailing by 4. And now coming into the game for Chazy is Katelyn Kozak, a JV player brought up for tonight's game. So Kozak gets it into Latchmore.
Play in a corner. There used to be a thing called forced out, where if somebody nudged you out of bounds, it would go against them. But they decided years ago that either it's a foul or it's not a foul. And if it's not a foul, there's no forced out.
Well, the ball is in the Orange hands, and thank you, Calvin, for clarifying that, because I did not know that. And again, it's just that in-depth information for sports you get on only Hometown Cable. So tell the folks about it. Please support Hometown Cable. It is viewer supported and business supported. You can send a donation to 1477 Ridge Road, Champlain, New York, 12919. Or you can go online to Plattsburgh.com. And the foul is on Seymour with under 2 minutes to go. You go to Plattsburgh.com. They do PayPal there, and you can pay online. You can make a donation. And Calvin's doing a really good job about posting the recent stuff and older stuff online. So if you know of anybody who does not have the access to the Access channel, Plattsburgh.com, and they can get all these hometown memories. And this will be a memory when this game is over, and it'll have a lot more meaning to these young ladies as the years go by and their family members. So we have 1:43 to go. 22-18 the Orange. Ball favors Chazy. Kozak will get it into Latchmore.
This is the last weekend in January, and by Monday we should have over 1,600 things up there for viewing.
You posted over 1,600?
We will by the weekend.
Now, Kozak has it taken away from her. And the ball goes into the hands of number 15, Reynolds. And the ball, and there is a foul called with 1:13 to go. So Calvin, I know that the site is always being worked on, but right now to look, you gotta like hit the arrow to see what, it goes like 5 or 7 shows at a time. Is there a way that it can be some kind of archive where you can just type something in and then the shows would pop up?
For a couple of weeks, the View Master List wasn't working, but Brian McBride's got it working again. You can go to the prompt under regional videos. You go to, instead of clicking on regional videos, just let the menu open up, and then click on View All Videos, and it'll open up a list, and you can just peruse the list, or you can use your search tool on the computer and then search that list.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. And it's Cooper. It's a 6-point Orange lead, and the ball knocked away. And coming back into the game is Hamden.
Well, right now, when you click on the regional videos, a page with 10 videos opens up, and right now we've got 158 pages up there.
That is awesome. Cooper gets it up to Reynolds. Reynolds into the paint, running one-hander, can't get it to the drop, and it was, Cahoon thought it was going out, but it was picked up by number 12, Pearson. So with 30 seconds to go, the Orange will try to get another shot off here before the half, and it comes back into Hamden's hands. She goes over to the right side into the hands of number 33, and we have a no 33 here. So I got to check your list, Calvin, and it's over. So it's nice to have the backup list, Calvin, because it's not in the type list here. So again, just the professionalism, this stuff happens and it comes into effect.
You're right. If I had that prepared sheet, you wouldn't have that other list.
Oh, nice shot by Cooper. It doesn't drop. So this halftime will come to an end, and the Orange lead the Eagles 24-18. And we're back to start the third quarter. It's an Orange 6-point lead, and coming around the far side was Hamden. Hamden gives it up to Farrell. Goes into the hot hand Reynolds, at least the hot hand in the first half. And Pine, nice play by Pine. And what was nice about that shot, Calvin, she had a 8-footer, but she had space. She took her steps she was allowed and took it right off the glass. And players watching this learn from that. Take advantage of it. You take a layup off the glass, it's a much better chance of making it than an 8-footer.
When I was writing down those names and I saw the name Pine, I said that must be a very familiar name to Joey, because he spent a lot of time on the Pines.
Calvin, you're one of the few to remember those days. Thank God you weren't filming back then. But back then, when you get to show the players' benches, I was like the last one over here, so it was a nice spot. And I don't know
the sweat jacket.
Well, I don't know if the coach never saw me play. I sat so far at the other end. I'm not sure. So it could have been. I got to take responsibility for that too.
That's
myself.
Right. You got to make yourself known.
So it's 26-18 for the Orange. Chazy with the ball. It's Seymour. She takes a baseliner, misses it, and it goes back into her hands. Misses the shot. Reynolds tries to go off the glass, and boy, nice offensive effort from Seymour and Reynolds. and they make the bucket, so it's still a 6-point game. And Calvin, I'll still say it's very surprising the Eagles are within 6 points of this team.
Yeah, because I think Coach Reynolds has to be happy with his team's offensive play, but he's got to be a little unhappy with the defensive end.
Now, when you say Coach Reynolds, is that his daughter out there?
I never assumed that, but it's certainly a possibility.
Okay. It is Cooper. Cooper gives it up over to Reynolds. Reynolds taking it into the paint, gives it up to Seymour. Seymour, usually deadly on the baseline, just misses it, knocked back out to Cooper. Cooper gives it up over to Latour, and Latour will be called for the travel. She tried to get Latchmore at the top of the key, or the foul line. Nice effort by Hannah Latour, but she traveled on that one, so the ball will go over to the orange, and it's into the hands of Reynolds. Reynolds being guarded by Latchmore, and Latour comes over to help out. A little bump, Pine, there she is. And again, Pine does a nice job. She knows where she is around the basket, does a nice job, goes off a little to the right, takes it off the glass for a guaranteed 2, and it's an 8-point orange lead. It's Latchmore with the ball over to Reynolds. Reynolds all the way over to Cooper. Cooper gives it to Latchmore, goes off Latchmore, and it's picked up by Reynolds. Reynolds over to Latour. Latour's got the angle. She tried to rush it in and hit the rim. And it will be Olivia Seymour going to the line for 2, actually Megan Reynolds. And the foul was called on Allison Pine. So going to the line is Megan Reynolds with 5:55 to go here in the third, an 8-point orange lead. And Megan Reynolds has been deadly from the foul line tonight. She nails that one. And she makes the second one, and usually you kind of jinx them when you say, oh, well, they're shooting, but she made that one, Calvin.
You tried, Joe, you tried.
Yeah, well, you're allowed to use the rim, and she used about 3 sides, anyway, the 4 sides. And it is into the hands of Reynolds, and it's Carly Reynolds, gets it all the way over to Elizabeth Hamden. Hamden nails a 2-pointer, and she answers the Megan Reynolds free throws with a bucket of her own, so now it's a 30-22 orange lead, and Cooper traveled with the ball. She held up and traveled, so there was a turnover for Chazy with 5:31 to go here in the third, an 8-point orange lead. Ball comes into the hands of Carly Reynolds. Reynolds gives it up over to Elizabeth Hamden. Hamden goes baseline to Farrell. It is Pine, pushes it up over to number 12, Pearson. She misses it, rebounded by Seymour. Seymour gives it up over to Latchmore. Latchmore crosses midcourt, gives it up over to Cooper. Reynolds trying to find Seymour and throws it away, so the ball will go back to the orange. And it's into the hands of Farrell. Farrell gives it back up to Hamden. Latchmore playing man-to-man defense here. Full court pressure by Latchmore. But Hamden takes it across mid-court, gives it up over to Reynolds. Reynolds being guarded by Cooper. She goes baseline to Farrell. Farrell goes to the top of the key, back to Hamden. Hamden comes left side baseline. It goes to Farrell. Farrell looks in, gives it back out over to Hamden. Hamden gets double teamed. It goes into the hands of number 24, Pine. There's a shot, and it is nice save by number 12, Pearson, and she gets it out, and the shot clock goes down. So that's the second time this game that Chazy has played some tenacious defense to stop the Orange from getting a shot off. So it's a turnover with 4:34 to go, and it goes into the hands of Devin Latchmore. Latchmore loses her dribble, gives it up over to Cooper. Nice job from Cooper. She flings a shot up there, hits the rim, goes into the hands of Reynolds, and Reynolds looking to run the floor, and Reynolds loses it off her legs. She tried to get by Reynolds, but good job by Reynolds. Megan Reynolds guarding Carly Reynolds. Good defensive play, and it's a turnover, and the ball comes into Megan Reynolds' hands. And she's being guarded by Carly Reynolds. Underneath to Seymour, nice look. Seymour tried to get a shot off, but a nice block by number 4, Hamden. And it's the Orange controlling the ball. It was a nice look from Reynolds to find Seymour underneath, but a nice defensive play by the Orange. And it's into the hands of Farrell. Farrell with the ball going all the way over baseline, and nice save by Hamden. And she throws it away, so it should be an over and back. And it is, and Jamie Labarge was all over that one, Calvin. He calls it, so the ball will go to Chazy. And we have a timeout with 3:51 to go in the third. It's an 8-point Orange lead, 30-22.
Just before Christmas.
And we're back here for the timeout. From the timeout, it's Latchmore with the ball. And it's taken away by number 4, Hamden. Hamden looking to run the floor all the way. And nice finish from Hamden because there was some good defense by Megan Reynolds. And kudos for Hamden to win that battle, taking it off the glass. So it's in the 10-point Orange lead here. It's Shanae Cooper being double teamed. And Latchmore comes over. A nice hustle by the Orange, which picked up by Reynolds. She gives it up to Seymour. Seymour has it blocked, and it's a jump ball. And that's the second time that Hamden has blocked Seymour. And that's ruled a jump ball, so it will be Chazy's ball underneath the their own net here. Well, underneath the Orange net, trying to get an offensive shot off, I should say. It is Reynolds with the ball. Top of the key, Latchmore squares up, and Devin Latchmore having a hot hand, and it is Latour. And nice hustle. Out of nowhere comes Carly Pine, and you know, Calvin, that's the real deal there. When you can shoot and get on the floor like that, you have a love for the game.
Yeah, you gotta want to get dirty once in a while.
Well, that was I mean, she came out of nowhere, and she tied that ball up, and the arrow favored the Orange, and it's into the hands of number 3, Farrell, over to Hamden. Hamden being guarded by Latchmore. It's baseline, and nice move baseline into the paint, trying to find Pine. Pine gets a shot off, and it's Latchmore comes up, and again, it's tied up, and the arrow will favor Chazy. With 2:50 to go here in the third, it's a 10-point Orange lead. Latchmore gets the ball in from Cooper, and Latchmore gives it back to Cooper, so Cooper will take it up the floor here for the Eagles. Crosses midcourt, picked up by Reynolds, given up over to Megan Reynolds, over to Latchmore. Latchmore trying to penetrate, comes back over to Latour. Latour being double teamed, and it's knocked away, and here come the Orange, and it's taken away by Farrell. Farrell gives it up over to Hamden. Hamden being guarded by Latchmore. Hamden, beyond the three-point arc, gives it up over to Farrell. Baseline over to Pearson. Pearson being guarded by Latour, knocked away by Reynolds. And the ball will go to the Orange with 2:14 to go here in the third. Farrell gives the ball over to Hamden. Hamden goes into the paint to Pearson. Pearson back to Hamden. She takes it from the foul line, takes a shot, rebounded by Seymour. Nice job, Seymour on the defensive end. Gives it up over to Megan Reynolds. Reynolds into Latour. Latour trying to take it off the glass. Rebounded by Seymour. She gets a shot off, and it comes into the hands of Carly Reynolds. Reynolds is fouled by Latchmore. And it will be the Orange ball way back on their end of the court. And Cahoon coming into the game. Out coming is Latour. And Hamden with the ball. She's got Farrell to her left. Looks inside, but comes back over to Farrell, back to Hamden. Hamden being guarded by Latchmore. And it goes into the hands of Reynolds. Reynolds is called for a travel. She took a step before she let the shot fly. So we have a minute 29 to go here in the third quarter. It's a 10-point Orange lead. It's Latchmore taking the ball up for Chazy. Crosses midcourt. Loses her dribble. Gives it up over to Cahoon. Cahoon trying to find Seymour, and it's taken away by number 24, Pine. The jump ball, and the arrow favors the Orange. And Hamden will take it up. Nobody picks her up, but gives it over to Farrell. Farrell over to Reynolds. Inside to Pearson. Trying to find Pine. Pine called for a travel. A nice ball movement by the Orange. And we have exactly 1 minute here left in the fourth, and coming out of the game is Pine. Third. Just want to see if you're on your toes, Calvin. And you passed the test. Good job. It is Reynolds, or not Reynolds, but Cooper giving it up over to Cahoon. Sends it back over to Cooper.
Sam said without Joe Poisson here, you got to keep an eye on Joey.
Oh yes, Mr. Joe Poisson. I was talking to him yesterday actually. He said there's only 210 days left to opening day in soccer.
No, it's year-round soccer.
Well, on the George Brandler Field. And the roll goes in, and it's now a 12-point lead with 17 seconds to go. So can Chazy get a shot off, and can they cut into this deficit? And not that way, as Devin Latchmore is called for a travel.
I guess the one season is wrapping up this weekend in the Crate Center, one of the soccer seasons, and then they'll start another season next week.
Oh yeah, with the indoor soccer, yeah. It is.
I think 3 seasons during the winter months. 3 soccer seasons during the winter months.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, the third quarter has come to an end here, and the Orange lead the Eagles 34-22. And we're back to start the fourth quarter. The arrow favors the Eagles, so they'll start the fourth quarter, taking it in. And trying to find Latour, comes into Megan Reynolds' hands. Reynolds trying to take it in. Good defensive play by the Orange, and here they come. And it's Hamden going coast to coast. She does a nice job grabbing the rebound and going coast to coast. So she increases the Orange lead to 36-22, with Devin Latchmore taking the ball up for Chazy. Gets it up over to Cooper.
And Indian Lake, Long Lake, instead of coast to coast, they say shore to shore.
Shore to shore, that would be true. And Latour does a nice little head fake, misses the shot, but nice effort, and it's rebounded by Pine. Pine gives it up over to Hamden. To the top of the key, to Pine. Pine to Farrell, over to Hamden. Hamden three-pointer. Doesn't get the roll. Nice effort by Pine. And Pine gets the ball, pushes it back out to Hamden. Hamden goes right side. And there's a running shot off the glass by Reynolds. And a jump ball called. And it favors the Orange. And it's baseline. And there's a baseline shot by Reynolds. And nice ball movement by the Orange into the hands of Carly Pine, or Reynolds, into the hands of Farrell. Farrell to hand. Nice ball movement. And Pierce was there, and the coach likes that. That was picture perfect playing, Calvin.
Yeah, I swear they knew what they were doing out there. They really looked good on that one.
That was just a beautiful offensive effort by the Orange. And I can see why the coach was jumping up and down on that one. I would be too of us coaching them. That was really nice to look at. And it's 38-22, the Orange leading the Eagles of Chazy. It is the 29th of January 2010. I'm Joey Trombley calling the game. Calvin Castine on the camera. And there's a shot off the rim, and it goes into Farrell's hands, down low to Pine. Pine had position, misses the shot, goes up again, and she's fouled.
After 10 years of saying 2000, 2001, and so on, now the Press Republicans trying to tell us we've got to say 2010 instead of 2010.
I just go 210, or what did I say?
2010.
2010, yeah.
Maybe when it gets to be 2011, I might change, but I can't go 10 years of saying 2000, then all of a sudden say 20.
Or I say 09, but you say 10, but I say 2010.
Yeah.
2010, it's all the same. Can't we get along, Calvin? Just can't we get along?
No, the Press Republican tells us we're supposed to do that, then I guess we're supposed to do that.
Well, if it's in print, it's true. Yeah. And it's an 18-point Orange lead. And it's Cahoon trying to find a Cooper. And it is Pine with the shot. And timeout called by House, as it's a 20-point Orange lead.
We both knew this was just inevitable, that it was a miracle that Chazy was staying with these guys, and so nobody on the Chazy part should be surprised right now that Indian Lake, Long Lake has moved out to this 20-point advantage.
No, but Chazy, they shouldn't be, but Chazy has put a good effort in tonight, definitely. And so nothing to be ashamed of.
No, but there's only so much they could expect from themselves, and they got that for a little over half the game. But now it's Indian Lake, Long Lake superiority is starting to show through.
Well, we're coming off the timeout here. 42-22.
Still got 6 minutes to go, so this could really open up. Maybe I don't know.
It could be a comeback to remember.
Yeah.
It could go either way.
Could be, yes.
It could be. Everything's possible. Likely, maybe not, but possible. And it's into Cooper's hands. Cooper looking to go baseline, trying to pass it out, and she was triple team, and it was just a matter of time, and it was Pine taking the ball up, giving it up over to Reynolds, and it comes into Hamden's hands. She's got some room. There's Pine off the glass, and Pine is very impressive in the paint. She knows what she's doing. She has complete control in there, and she takes another one off the glass. So it's 44-22. It is Cooper with the shot, and it comes back in the hands of Farrell. Farrell passes it back over to Pine, or Reynolds, Carly Reynolds. And you got Bain getting ready to check into the game. It comes into Hamden's hands. Over to Reynolds. Reynolds guarded by Reynolds. Gives it up over to Farrell. Farrell being guarded by Reynolds. Top of the key, Pine pushes it back out to Hamden. Hamden over to Farrell. Farrell loses it. And it goes off of the orange. So with 4:54 to go, Chazy will get the ball, and Bain will come into the game. Coming out of the game is number 12, Pearson. And 33, Obert getting ready to check into the game, and coming out of the game is Hamden. And Devin Latchmore taking the ball up here for Chazy. Crosses midcourt into Megan Reynolds' hands. Reynolds going baseline, but then pushes it back out to Cooper. Cooper gets the shot up off the glass into the hands of Farrell. And the coach is telling him to slow it down. Time is on their side. Pretty much the outcome, we know what it will be. The question is by how much. And, that's good coaching too, Calvin. He's not really trying to push it. He's just saying be smart out there. Slow it down.
Yeah, once you get that comfortable lead, you don't want to turn your entire game off, because then it can turn around in a hurry. But, you start doing things a little different so you don't end up with a complete blowout.
Right, and you slow things down and work the shot clock down and then try to get a bucket. But we have a timeout with 4:14 to go. It is a Indian Lake, Long Lake Orange 46 and the Chazy Eagles 22. And we're back from the timeout. Devin Latchmore will go up, and the coach does a nice job, pulls off the press. Has him in a 2-3 zone, no man-to-man. So it's into Megan Reynolds' hands. She's being double-teamed, trying to get up to Latour. Latour does a nice job going in strong, takes it off the glass and misses it, but rebounded by number 24, Pine, and it's jump ball. And the arrow favors the Eagles underneath the orange basket. Reynolds quickly with the shot. Nothing but net for Megan Reynolds. It's 46-24. And here comes Hamden. She crosses midcourt. Nobody on her. She's got space. She takes the free shot. And Hamden says, "You're going to give it to me. I'm going to take it." And she took advantage of it. And it's 48-24. It is now double the score. The orange leading the Eagles. And it is Reynolds again goes up, hits the rim. Cahoon does a nice job trying to get position for the rebound, but it goes out of bounds off the orange defense. So it will be Sinead Cooper taking the ball out here for the Eagles into Megan Reynolds' hands. She's looking to take it right in. She drives, misses it, rebounded by Latour, and Latour will go to the line for two. And Latour makes the first one. Coming out of the game is Carly Reynolds. Into the game is Farrell. And Latour misses the second, rebounded by Pine. Pine gives it up over to Hamden. Coach is saying slow it down, stretch the floor. Over to Pine. Pine back over to Hamden. Hamden goes right side into the hands of Obert. Obert goes baseline, back to Pine. Pine pushes it out to Hamden. 9 on the shot clock, doing a good job shooting it down. And nice block out by Latour. No foul called. There's the shot, and they work it right down, and if you're the coach, it worked to perfection. You make the bucket with 2 seconds left on the shot clock. So 50-25, so you get the best of both worlds there.
Do you think he was planning it to play it off the Eagles' hands back into their hands?
Well, no, the execution wasn't the way it was planned, but the result was definitely the way it was planned. And it's Cooper with the shot off the backboard, rebounded by Pine. And Obert gets it back over to Hamden. Hamden to Pine. Pine taking it in. Oh, doesn't get the roll. Picked up by Latchimore with 2:08 to go. 50-25, the Orange. And it's Reynolds taking a baseline shot. Misses it, rebounded by Obert. Obert gives it up to Hamden. And timeout called by the coach. And he wants to get his players in. So coming into the game is Kaylee Douglas and Morgan Hinckley.
We had a sub in for Chazy, 22.
22 would be Katelyn Kozak. Minute 45 to go. It's in the hands of Farrell over to Hamden. And there's a drive by Hamden, and she'll go to the line for 2. And it's Megan Reynolds with the foul. To the line is number 4, Elizabeth Hamden.
These first games of the season are always so tough that they don't know where to get for rebounding.
And she makes the first one. And we have number 20, Megan Miller, and 22, Sydney Hinckley coming into the game. And she makes the second one, so now it's a 52-25 game. And it's Cooper going right side over to Megan Reynolds. Reynolds going all the way off the glass, in and out. And Hinckley gets her hand on it, but it's picked up by Reynolds and Hamden. And jump ball called, and the arrow favors the Orange. So taking the ball up is Hamden. Hamden giving it up over to number 22, Hinckley. Hinckley trying to find number 35, Douglas. And Douglas trying to go baseline, fouled by Latchimore. Douglas has it knocked away, picked up by Kozak. Kozak with the ball, gives it up over to Reynolds. Reynolds pushes it up over to Cooper. Cooper back out over to Reynolds. Reynolds takes it right in, and she'll get a chance for a good old-fashioned three-point play as she was fouled going in, and she'll go to the line for 1. It's 52-25. And Reynolds, nothing but net, so it's 52-28 with under a minute to go, 51 seconds to be exact. Hamden will slow it up, picked up by Sinead Cooper, and it's to the paint. It is number 30, Hinckley has it knocked away, picked up by Kozak. Kozak over to Reynolds. Reynolds all the way over to Cooper. Cooper with the shot. She's short, rebounded by Reynolds, but she's tied up by Hinckley, Morgan Hinckley. And the arrow favors Chazy. Cooper gets it up to Reynolds. Reynolds hits the shot off, and it's picked up by Hamden. Reynolds does a nice job to steal it. She goes up again, and she's fouled by Hamden, so Reynolds will go to the line for two with 23 seconds here left to go in the game. She misses the first one.
Violation on Indian Lake, Long Leg's part, so she's going to shoot her first shot over again.
And she takes advantage of that and makes the first one. Misses the second, back into her hands. There's the shot baseline. And Cooper and Hamden battle for it. And the arrow will favor the orange with 17 seconds to go here. It's a 52-29 orange lead. Hinckley gets it up to Hamden. Hamden being guarded by Reynolds, knocks it out of bounds. Hamden with the ball, being guarded by Cooper. Knocked away, it is Cahoon. Gives it up over to Cooper. Cooper with the shot. Off the glass for a three. And the crowd likes that, and why not? It was a nice shot by Sinead Cooper. And this two-tenths of a second left. It wasn't a buzzer beater, but it was a crowd pleaser. And the Orange win this game 52-32. It is the 29th of January 2010. It's a bitterly cold day outside, but it was a warm night inside in the Chazy Auditorium for the Orange as they win this game by 20. And as Calvin likes to say, that's the way it was in beautiful downtown Chazy.
Put up 9 pins, so
Reset that one. There's Adams. Good 6 pins. And she will miss her spare.